VAISALI, an ancient city in the heart of Bihar, India, is a pivotal site in the tapestry of Buddhist history. Here, the Buddha spent significant periods of his life, leaving a legacy that resonates through the ages. VAISALI, the sacred legacy of the Buddha's teachings. VAISALI, known in Sino-Vietnamese as THqədNG, flourished as a vibrant center of spiritual inquiry and intellectual discourse more than 2,600 years ago. This historical site is where the Buddha preached many important sutras while preaching the Dharma. VAISALI is known as the center of spiritual knowledge in ancient times. Renouncing the luxuries of princely life, the young ascetic Siddhartha Gautama came to VAISALI for liberation. There, he studied with the renowned meditation masters Alara Kalama and Uddaka Ramapada. He mastered the absorptions of the formless realms, Akimkanayatana and Navasanyanasanyatana. Upon attaining the same spiritual levels as his two teachers, the Buddha realized that such meditative achievements were not the ultimate goal he was seeking. Renouncing these practices, he journeyed to the ascetic forest at THgsmåरि, about 24 kilometers from Bodh Gaya, a place he underwent nearly 6 years of extreme austerities. Eventually, the Buddha abandoned self-mortification and discovered the Noble Eightfold Path, through which he became the greatest enlightened one in the spiritual history of India.
This cave, measuring less than 20 square meters in area and under 3 meters in height, was closely associated with the path of spiritual practice rooted in Hindu traditions. After realizing that this path did not lead to ultimate enlightenment and liberation, even though he was revered at the time as an incarnation of the Supreme Deity, the Buddha resolutely decided to abandon asceticism.
The Buddha spent 2 rains retreats in VAISALI. The first occurred in the 6th year following his enlightenment, during which he established the Bhikkhuni Sangha, the first monastic order for women in human history, reflecting the democratic spirit of VAISALI. The second retreat took place in the 7th year after his awakening. Upon hearing news of his father's grave illness, the Buddha departed from VAISALI to visit King Suddhodana, to whom he delivered profound discourses on impermanence, non-self, and the transcendence of suffering. After this filial visit, the Buddha returned to VAISALI and resided there for nearly 9 months. Beginning with his final rains retreat at the age of 80, it was at this sacred place that he solemnly announced his impending parinibbana, declaring that he would attain final liberation in Kusinagara. VAISALI is renowned as the sacred site where the Buddha officially established the Bhikkhuni Sangha, marking a turning point in the religious history of gender equality. The presence of this female monastic order affirmed that gender is not an obstacle to moral, spiritual, or meditative attainment, even to the realization of arahantship. Rather, it is unwholesome actions through body, speech, and mind that create hindrances. The gender equality movement initiated by the Buddha carried immense significance in the patriarchal context of ancient India, and continues to resonate today. In fact, the Buddha's foster mother and maternal aunt, Queen Mahapajapati Gautami, had expressed her intention to renounce the household life a year earlier, while residing at Nayagradharama near Kapilavatthu in the Sakya Republic. When the Buddha resided at Kutigarasala in the Mahavana, her aspiration was fulfilled. At her request, she and 500 women of the Sakya clan shaved their heads, donned the monastic robes, and walked barefoot nearly 400 kilometers from Kapilavatthu to VAISALI. Their request to enter the monastic order was met with hesitation. Through the support of Venerable Ananda, it was granted. They became the first ordained bhikkhunis in Buddhism and the first female monastics in recorded history. Located about 3 kilometers from the town of VAISALI, the Kutigarasala monastery was built and offered to the Buddha by the Lashavi people. According to Jataka tale number 316, the monastery later came to be known as the Monkey Temple, due to its association with the story of a monkey offering honey to the Buddha.
When the Buddha preached at this site, many monkeys Deeply moved by his boundless compassion, offered him fruits. One of them, however, became overly excited and tragically fell to its death. Since then, the monastery has been known as the Monkey Temple, in remembrance of that heartfelt offering.
Due to his noble deed and exceptional act of devotion, the monkey was reborn in a celestial realm. Whenever the Buddha visited Vaisali to teach the Dharma, he often stayed at this monastery.
Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật.
The second significant feature within the Kutigarasala monastery complex is the Ananda Stupa, which originally stood at a height of approximately 10 meters. This stupa is dedicated to Ven Ananda, the Buddha's principal disciple, commemorating his pivotal role in facilitating the ordination of women into the Bhikkhuni Sangha. The upper structure and surrounding architecture of the stupa have been damaged and faded over time. Positioned prominently within the monastery grounds, the stupa stands as a symbol of gratitude toward Ananda, whose compassionate support enabled Mahapajapati Gautami and 500 women of the Sakya clan to fulfill their aspiration to enter monastic life. This momentous act opened a new chapter in the religious history of India, wherein women were no longer confined to kitchens or child rearing, nor bound to a life of dependence on their fathers, husbands, or sons.
Học thuyết bình đẳng giới của Đức Phật cách đây 2.600 năm đến bây giờ còn nguyên giá trị và càng tỏa sáng. Thì đến ngày thế kỷ 21 này thì phụ nữ chúng tôi được học tập, được giữ các vị trí quan trọng ở trong các hiệp hội chuyên môn cũng như là trong các vị trí chính trị.
Within the Kutigarasala monastery grounds, the most prominent feature is the 11-meter-high sandstone Asokan pillar. Miraculously, among all the pillars erected by Emperor Asoka at various Buddhist sites, only the one at Kolwa in Vaisali has remained completely intact, withstanding both the ravages of Islamic invasions and the relentless erosion of time. This pillar is unique among the Asokan monuments for its singular lion capital, facing north, symbolizing the significance of gender equality and the enduring power of the Buddha's Dharma. The Kutigarasala monastic complex is quite expansive. Rows of ancient bricks, the foundations of monastic residences, and closely set circular brick pillar bases bear silent witness to the once thriving religious life that flourished here.
Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật.
Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật.
Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật.
The relic stupa in Vaisali was constructed by the Lashavi people of the Vaji Confederacy to commemorate the Buddha following his cremation and the division of his sacred relics. After the cremation at Kusinagara, the Buddha's relics were divided into 8 portions, one of which was entrusted to Vaisali, where it was enshrined in this stupa. At that time, the relics were placed in a small stone casket. In 1958, during an archaeological excavation led by Mr. K.K. Sinha of the Archaeological Survey of India, the stone casket containing the relics was discovered and later transferred to the Patna Museum. A portion of these relics was also enshrined in the Vishwashanti Stupa, constructed a few hundred meters away by Most Ben Nichidatsu Fuji of the Japanese Buddhist order Nipponzan Myohoji. Today, the original relic stupa stands as a ruin. A temporary green tin roof, shaped like an inverted alms bowl, has been erected to protect the ancient foundation. The base of the stupa is circular and lies about 4 meters below ground level. This site remains sacred to the global Buddhist community. A few hundred meters away, a new stupa is under construction in Vaisali. designed in the form of a mandala inspired by Mahayana Vajrayana cosmology. It is expected to be completed in 2025, at which time the relics currently housed in the Patna Museum will be ceremoniously transferred and enshrined within the new structure.
Buddham Saranam Gacchami.
Buddham Saranam Gacchami.
Dhammam Saranam Gacchami.
Dhammam Saranam Gacchami.
Sangham Saranam Gacchami.
A few hundred meters from the Buddha's relic stupa in the VAISALI Museum lies THÄNG Lake, a moss-covered and poetic body of water. The lake is surrounded by lush ornamental trees, enhancing its serene beauty. In ancient times, its waters were regarded as sacred, and every elected official in VAISALI was ritually anointed with this holy water prior to taking the oath of office. On the left bank of THÄNG Lake stands the pristine white World Peace Pagoda, Vishwa Shanti Stupa, with its 4 cardinal faces enshrining images of the Buddha representing his birth, enlightenment, first turning of the wheel of Dharma, and final Mahaparinirvana. This stupa is one of 80 built under the visionary leadership of Most Ben Fuji Guruji, of the Nichiren Buddhist tradition in Japan, as a diplomatic endeavor to strengthen the bonds of friendship between India and Japan. At the center of the stupa's foundation and again at its apex, relics of the Buddha unearthed at VAISALI. This stupa symbolizes peace and love, embodying the core teachings of the Lotus Sutra.
This stupa continues to endure through time, serving as a powerful reminder that true happiness can only be attained when we cultivate inner peace. Inner peace, in turn, exerts a positive influence on peace within the family, peace within the nation, and ultimately peace across the world.
Of philosophy. Okay, thank you.
The Kesaraya Stupa is located in Champaran district, Bihar, approximately 110 kilometers from Patna and 55 kilometers from VAISALI. According to historical records, at the age of 80, following his final rains retreat, the Buddha departed from VAISALI on his final journey to Kusinagara. Pausing at Kesapada, thousands of Lashavi devotees from the VAISALI region accompanied him to this point. Wishing not to burden them, the Buddha offered them his alms bowl and gently advised them to return home. To commemorate this heartfelt moment, the local community erected a stupa to enshrine the bowl after the Buddha's passing. Over the centuries, each restoration of the Kesaraya Stupa at its original location resulted in an increasingly larger structure. During the Maurya, Sungha, and Kusana dynasties, the original earthen mound was renovated with red bricks and expanded in size. In 250 BCE, Emperor Asoka commissioned a larger version of the stupa. Later, during the Gupta period around the 6th century CE, the stupa was further enlarged and adorned with hundreds of Buddha statues. From the 13th century onward, the decline of Buddhism in India, due to Islamic invasions, led to a reinterpretation of the stupa by local Hindus, who began referring to it as Devala, meaning house of the deity, and believed it to be a temple dedicated to Lord Shiva, built by King Bhima. The stupa was first recorded by Mr. Mackenzie in 1814 and later excavated by British archaeologist Alexander Cunningham in 1861-62. The cone-shaped structure visible today was partially excavated in 1998 by the Archaeological Survey of India. Despite being recognized as a National Heritage Site, as of 2018, nearly half of the CHŒA stupa remains buried beneath centuries of accumulated soil and vegetation, awaiting full excavation. The CHÈA stupa is regarded as the tallest ancient Buddhist stupa in the world. Its original height reached approximately 45 meters, symbolizing the Buddha's 45 years of teaching the Dharma. Today, the stupa stands at a reduced height of 32 meters due to the effects of earthquakes, the passage of time, and structural degradation. The base circumference measures 426 meters, and the stupa rises in 5 floors. When viewed from above, it reveals the form of a vast Vajrayana Buddhist mandala. Each floor contains numerous recessed niches that once enshrined Buddha statues, many of which were damaged or destroyed during the Islamic invasions of the 13th century. VAISALI was not only the capital of the Vajika Confederacy in the 6th century BCE, but also a place that the Buddha visited frequently to teach the Dharma. These frequent visits are recorded in the canonical scriptures, which detail his dialogues with contemporary spiritual teachers on the nature of suffering and the path to enlightenment. Such records highlight VAISALI's significance as a key spiritual hub in the Buddha's broader mission to disseminate the Dharma. The Mahāli Sutta, found in the Digha Nikaya, collection of long discourses, records a discussion concerning celestial beings, Deva, and invisible spirits, Amanusa, reflecting the Buddha's engagement in the philosophical debates of his time. Similarly, the Bhakagata Sutta in the Samyutta Nikaya, Connected Discourses, recounts the Buddha's profound responses to metaphysical inquiries posed by the wandering ascetic Bhakagata, demonstrating his analytical reasoning and skillful application of wise attention, yoniso manasikara, in addressing complex philosophical issues. Approximately 100 years after the Buddha's parinibbana, the Second Buddhist Council was convened in VAISALI. This council aimed to resolve disputes concerning 10 unlawful practices related to monastic discipline. It resulted in the first major schism in Buddhist history, leading to the formation of 2 major schools, the Stavira and the Mahasamjika. This event holds great historical significance, marking the diversification of Buddhist traditions and the formal codification of the Vinaya, the monastic code originally established by the Buddha. VAISALI, a city echoing with memories of the Buddha spanning more than VAISALI, a city of gender equality and reverence for wisdom. It was here that debates on Buddhist doctrine, Buddhist science, and Buddhist philosophy converged. Ultimately, all such dialogues served one noble purpose: to uplift humanity for freedom, happiness, and ultimate liberation. For 45 years, the Blessed One tirelessly walked the land of India, returning time and again to sacred sites, not for rest, but to spread the Dharma and illuminate the timeless truths, offering hope to all beings. The land of VAISALI was blessed with such a sacred presence. And now, in the gentle whisper of the wind, one seems to hear the voice of Ven. Ananda. Thus have I heard. One day, the Blessed One came to the city of VAISALI,